What's up, Angel City? It's your girl Panda here, joined alongside my favorite co-host Nina, and we are here to bring you episode 67 and recap our most recent matchup. But first, what's going on, Nina?
Yeah, I like how you added to that intro the one where the dash fell down a
A
lot.
lot. Yeah, they seem
A
to be
lot.
on the ground a lot. Like they should have been more like the Houston thrash. Like thrash around on the ground like a
Yeah.
fish out of water or something. I don't know. We'll talk about that, of course. But
Yeah. For those of you not joining us on YouTube, though, Panda Noir in the building. She's got some red wine for a red card. And then I'm over here with my sunburn for a red card.
Mm.
Try and do my part.
We both brought something red to the
But also
table
rosé.
yes, and pink, to commemorate the red card trouble that seems to be plaguing the Houston Dash. I also have one of these. It's a red card. So, anyways, well, again, you know how we like to do this. We like to warm up a little bit, get a little, vocal exercises into our little brains here. But we're going to talk to you about a little NWSL news, like always, some fun stuff. Do a little World Cup watch with you, and then, of course, we are going to recap this game, let you know our thoughts. Got some questions for everybody at some point, and then we'll talk about what's coming up as well. And as always, you're going to want to stay for the fluff because, well, I'm introducing 2 new segments into today's podcast. And yeah,
Right.
This is
That's
all
right.
somewhat of a surprise to Nina, what I've got planned for her. So you're going to want to stick around for that. I promise you it's going to be funny. But anyways, anything going on with you right now? I know I am in the middle of thinking about packing for a trip that I'm leaving on tomorrow.
I am thinking about finishing doing the laundry that I started last week.
Good luck. It'll never happen because the laundry that's happening currently is still happening and you haven't finished last week. So it's just a problem that is cyclical and will never ever end until you die.
Yeah, unfortunately, with all these soccer games we've had, nobody has shown up and just cleaned for me.
I really would love for that to happen. I would love for someone to come and pack for me. I am the worst when it comes to packing because I'm so indecisive. I don't know exactly what the weather's going to be like. I don't know what the vibe of this wedding we're going to is like. I just have to bring all kinds of options with me, and it's going to be ridiculous. I'm going to overpack like always, but still, I have to because it's I don't want to end up in Canada, which is where we're going, and only have one outfit that just doesn't feel right because then, it's just going to ruin the night. Right?
Yeah, and Canada doesn't have stores, so you're definitely on the right track.
Absolutely. Anytime I go travel anywhere, I pretend as though I have access to nothing and I'm literally traveling to the middle of a third world country, clearly, and I'm not going to be able to buy anything, so I have to bring everything.
Yeah, and you're going for what, like 4 or 5 days, so at least pack 30 pairs of underwear.
Like 3 days.
30 pairs.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
You've got to anticipate everything.
Right. Like you're going to have explosive diarrhea every 2 hours while you're there until you get home. So, I mean, I got to be prepared, right? You never know how the elements are going to affect you.
And with that, let's talk about soccer.
4 minutes of useless banter, everybody. Time to get into it. Where do we want to start?
Let's start with something else that's gross and add this slide to the mix.
Oh my gosh.
Something that's been trending, and we have to address this. This is a must on the pod here. Hot shot.
Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
If that picture doesn't just tell you how awful it is, go out there and there are videos of the side by side of these hot shot takes. And oh my God, Panda, explain this whole thing to me, because other than being absolutely disgusting, let's talk science.
Yeah, so this was fascinating for me to go down this rabbit hole. I actually really enjoyed this because it does talk a lot about the body and how it reacts to certain kinds of things, whether, overstimulation or electrolyte imbalance. But what we're talking about are muscle cramps. And if you're not on YouTube and you're listening right now, we're showing the graphic that has been going all over Instagram and Twitter, where we all saw Alyssa Thompson go go down with a cramp. And we couldn't tell if she was in a lot of pain or what, but we soon found out she was taking something called Hot Shot. And what Hot Shot is it's designed to treat or prevent muscle cramps. And you're probably thinking, how can that work? What is it? What's going on? So I did a little bit of a deep dive to go into this, and I'm going to give you a little science behind muscle cramps first. So first, exercise associated muscle cramps, which obviously this is exercise associated. That's what they're doing. They're running around. That is a form of exercise. They're usually spasmodic, and they are involuntary contractions of skeletal muscles that are occurring. Now, this results in like a bulging or a knotting of the muscle, and it usually puts it into a shortened position, and it's muscles that are in between like muscle joint groups. So think about your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your calves. They're all in between muscle groups. So all of a sudden they shorten up and they contract and they get like really hard and painful, and you just got to think of how are you going to get rid of them. Now, historically, we blame electrolyte imbalances for this. You've all heard of people needing pickle juice for the salt, the sodium, the potassium from bananas and everything, or dehydration. But it's not always triggered by that. Sometimes, and actually most often, cramps are triggered by hyperactive nerves that are like pounding these fatiguing muscles during exercise. So just think about those muscles that are getting tired, and the nerves are constantly sending these signal. And as the muscles fatigue, all of a sudden they're like, what do you want me to do? I don't know what to do. And they just kind of they kind of lose their neuromuscular control. And then that's where your cramp happens. So here's where Hot Shot comes in, and there's why it's fascinating, because Hot Shot is like a trick, if you will. It's interesting. It's not so much treating the cramp, going in there and like releasing everything. It's tricking you. And how it's doing that is when you take something like Hot Shot that has capsaicin in it, and capsaicin is what you find in hot chili peppers. Okay, super hot. If you've ever eaten a hot chili or any kind of pepper, you know immediately your mouth tingles, it burns. There's a whole lot of things happening in your mouth. You get very salivary, your eyes are white. Like this response above the neck is just out of control. Now, for muscle cramps, why you take this is because the sensory nerves that are located in your mouth, the esophagus, and the stomach, well, they start to get stimulated by this Hot Shot capsaicin that's happening. And they send like this calming signal through your spinal cord, and it's going to inhibit the repetitive firing of hyperactive nerves to your fatiguing muscles. So all of a sudden, all the stuff that's happening to these muscles that's getting like overstimulated, you take this hot stuff, and then all of a sudden it's like it forgets to care about everything else that's going on. It decides that it's got too much going on up here, and it stops firing against those muscles. Thus, your cramp within a minute or two is all of a sudden relieved because it moved on to something else. It decided it had a better job to do in that moment. And that is why Hot Shot is taken. And I've read a lot of reviews about it. A lot of people swear by this. And when I look into this, whether or not, this is true or not, it's actually interesting that the reason cramps happen is I don't want to say it's vague. It's just not pinpointed into one thing. It's a whole lot of things happening. It is fatigue. It is overstimulation of the muscles by the nerves. It is dehydration and also the electrical imbalances. It's a whole lot of things going on at once. And this is one way that they have decided that they are able to go in and maybe relieve that temporarily. Now,
and
you
it's
probably want
disgusting.
And it's disgusting. Nina thinks this is disgusting. I think it's fascinating. I loved researching this and like looking at, the reviews from people and if it works and talking about the science behind it. But if you guys saw Alyssa Thompson laying on the ground and she chugged something and then looked like she was in absolute and utter pain, it wasn't because of her cramp. She was in absolute disgust by the burning sensation that was happening in her mouth that hopefully would eventually lead to her muscles relaxing and stop cramping. So
that's true or false? If I'm cramping at home, I can just chug some Tapatio.
Try it. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you no because I don't know. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Try it.
Do not do this at home. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how much capsaicin's in there. I don't know how much tingle is going to happen, but Anyways, thank you for listening to my little science explanation. I loved every moment of that, but
Oh,
that is
dear Lord.
exciting.
Do not chug your hot sauce at home.
Don't
Do
chug your
not.
hot sauce? All right. Well, you're
No.
probably gonna have far better problems at the end of all this than the hot sauce burning your mouth and your cramps happening. You're probably gonna have a terrible stomach ache, and what's gonna happen within the next few hours is probably gonna create another problem that
You're gonna need 30
how
pairs of underwear.
I don't know how to remedy that. So maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, let's move
Oh my
on to more
goodness.
exciting stuff. I don't know. That was pretty exciting for me. I don't know how you guys felt about it. Hopefully, you learned something. We do want to inform and educate here and entertain. That had to check one of those boxes.
Yes, thank you for sciencing us well. We do have some Angel City news, and these usually tie into what happened this last week. And within this last week, Angel City was able to sell out BMO for the 7th time in club history. Hey, hey, hey.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Savanica, she said.
Savanica.
I combined her entire name, Savannah McCaskill. 99 match appearances in her NWSL career, which means we about to party. We about to party.
We almost at a century for appearances. So we'll celebrate that on the next pod. That'll be fun.
And then Pride.
Speaking of fun, if you guys were not at the Pride tailgate, then you really did miss out on a huge, huge block party that had everything you could have imagined. It was colorful, it was fun, it was lighthearted. There was a fun little drag show that I went and watched a few moments of that was highly entertaining, and it was just a good time. It was just good vibes. It was, I don't know, it was a nice sunny day for once. It wasn't overcast and windy. It was beautiful. Sun was shining, and we saw two celebrities out there at the tailgate, Nina.
Yeah, 2 celebrities made their way to Christmas Tree Lane, and this was a first for both of us. We turned around, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's Daniel Ball. Isn't he supposed to be inside the stadium?"
Right?
And then we looked right to his left, and right behind him walks up our new coach, and I'm never going to call her the interim coach. She is my coach, Becky Tweed, also on Christmas Tree Lane. And we go up and we start chatting with Becky, and she's like, "Yeah, I wanted to see the drag show."
Yeah. They were totally here for it. They came out, they made their rounds and just kind of said hi to everybody. She was super nice, super welcoming, and it was just a lot of fun. It just kind of, like I said, it just added to the vibes that were out there that were all about love and inclusiveness and just being out there supporting one another before we go in to talk about this game.
Yeah, and we've got a little bit more to cover, but this brings us to World Cup Watch 2023. Boom, boom, boom.
World Cup watch. Yes, obviously we are gearing up fastly and furiously into the month of July, where we are going to kick off the World Cup. And the U.S. women's national team announced their roster. And oh boy, are we
We are excited for this one for sure.
They are not messing around. Let's just say that. They are not messing around with this competition. They are coming to win their 3rd World Cup, and they are going to be taking names and leaving out everybody else out to dry. So would you like me to talk about real quick, who's on the roster real quick for those that are not on the YouTubes and are listening?
Yeah, go through it. Get it.
All right, so in the forward position, of course, we've got Megan Rapinoe, Alyssa Thompson, Alex Morgan, Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, and Lynn Williams. And of course, in the midfield, we have none other than our own Julie Ertz. We've got Andy Sullivan, Savannah DeMello, Christy Mewis, Ashley Sanchez, and Rose Lavelle. Holding down that back line, we've got Kelly O'Hara, Naomi Girma, Crystal Dunn, Alana Cook, Emily Fox, Emily Sonnet, and Sofia Huerta. And then our goalkeepers, we have Casey Murphy, Aubrey Kingsbury, and Alyssa Nair. That is your U.S. Women's World Cup roster kicking off on July 20th. And I can think of no better way to do it than for you all, if you're watching, and if you're listening to, just listen, this video that Adidas decided to put out right before this, which I think is fantastic. I'm going to cue it up. Are you ready, Nina?
Let's do it.
So I have to do it from the other computer because for some reason it likes me better. But either way, Without further ado, please watch this or listen.
Player of all time.
Best football player of all time.
What did Mahomes have to say?
Is this a trick question?
They're not talking about you, Patrick.
Let's be honest. The game you play
shouldn't even be called football.
Why are there basketball players in this commercial?
Oh, I can play football.
There's football.
And then there's football.
Or football.
Football?
It takes equal parts.
Power.
Poise.
finesse.
They play on a bigger stage.
To any of us.
How do you not get goosebumps watching that? Real quick, for those that are listening, Adidas put out a video, and we will make sure to put it somewhere on our social so you can see it as well. But it is NFL players. That was Trevor Lawrence and Patrick Mahomes and some basketball players. They're all talking about the greatest football player of all time. And at the end, you just see the Women's World Cup roster, you know, a
The
few
U.S.
of them.
Women's National Team just
Yeah.
boom, 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 boom is all their headshots, and it gives me chills every time because hell yeah, and the tagline is they play on the world's biggest stage, and that's what this is, and we are ready for it. We are ready to three-peat. Let's go.
So exciting. Loved that. Love that they did that for us. So exciting times.
But you know,
all right.
it's affecting more than just Angel City. And you know, there's more than just the US Women's National Team out there. 60 NWSL players are going to be representing their countries in the World Cup.
Yes.
Freaking fantastic is that. That means 1 in every 12 NWSL players got a call up.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane because, you know, when you look at the men's national team for the US, most of the players are coming from clubs that they're playing over in Europe. And here, I feel like it's just, again, and we've said this before, it's the total opposite. We have so many players from our NWSL league that are representing over there. So that just means that the world looks to the US as far as this league, where it's, you know, it's prime real estate. It's the creme de la creme. It's the bee's knees. It's where they want their girls to play as well. So I love that just so much for them. I can't wait to get closer and closer and start talking about it more and more. And, you know, we're going to figure out exactly what our role is going to be as well for the World Cup. As far as talking about it, well, I don't know. We may have a poll out there for you all, but
yeah, definitely stay tuned for a poll because as Amanda and I react to everything you say and want for us to do, we're trying to figure out how to best pod for you. So start mulling over how often you would like some Angel City Chicks content, and we will do our best to oblige.
Yeah,
Don't say every day because I do need sleep.
So again, as far as the World Cup goes, like we said, Julie Ertz, Alyssa Thompson, June Endo all got the call up. And then another name that we haven't got to really mention or talk about is Amandine Henry, who is on France's national team. So if you were looking to see her anytime soon, you're going to have to wait till probably after the World Cup now, because she is quite a beast.
France. Sorry, have you seen the French Barbie posters? Let's tangent.
I'm sorry, what?
You need to just, if you're over 16 years old, you need to, or over 18 years old, you need to just go look at the Barbie France posters because Google Translate gone wrong.
What? I don't even know what you're talking about, Nina.
Do it in your free time.
What do I Google exactly?
Google French Barbie movie poster. If you're over 18.
Okay. I feel like this is something we should have talked about in the fluff, but
probably. But
yeah.
You know, I like to derail you once in a while. That's what I'm here for. I got my nice sunburn going on. It's making me nice and hot and toasty. Look at it. It's pretty.
Yeah, it does look nice. So yeah.
Okay. Do that in your free time. Let's move on because we do have a game to break down. You know, Becky Tweed taking on her second ever match as Angel City coach. And I will repeat for the millions and for the masses, I am Team Tweed all the way. I am on that bandwagon. Like, let's go. I want to drop the interim already. Let's stop messing around. Let's make this thing official. Let's get engaged. Let's get married. And I'm not just talking about JR.
Oh my gosh. You're ready for her to be married to this team and be the one in charge. So, well, let's just talk about that. Let's talk about, I've got some fun questions I don't have in the notes. So I'm going to might throw you off a little bit on this one, Nina. It's going to be fun, but,
okay. I'm usually the one throwing you off.
Right. I've got some things and we're definitely we're going to talk about it. So Let's get into this. I will start us off, of course, on Sunday. It was Pride Night at BMO Stadium, and Angel City football, they drew against the Houston Dash 0-0 in a chippy game that did see Houston go down to 10 players, but they were able to hold on for the draw. This game marked Angel City's second shutout of the season, and it was all presented by Heineken Silver.
Yeah,
And,
the first time that we saw Dash, rolling, uh, Alosia in the 4th minute, she gets kind of punched by Didi, and this was a rough one because Didi's going for an aerial ball, and boom, she clocks her, and that one I didn't necessarily blame them for because ouchies.
Yeah, I mean, she did get kind of knocked a little bit in the side of the head. I mean, thankfully, Dee Dee's wearing kind of gloves, So, I mean, look at boxers in the ring, it takes more than one punch to knock them down. So, in this case, though, she did go down for quite a bit, but it would not be the first time that we saw Houston Dash rolling around on the ground. However, Angel City would dominate in the early minutes of this game. They did get a quality chance, the first one of the likes in the 10th minute. Allie Riley, she's going to play a pass up the wing to forward Alyssa Thompson, and she did sprint forward. She sent a through ball into the box for Sydney LaRue, who took a one-time shot. Keeper Jane Campbell, she did block it out for a corner kick. As I have in my notes, it was great passing. It was a great run, great shot, and a great save.
With the mwah face.
Yes, but we did get a corner kick, and it looked good. Like, they looked strong. They looked poised to kind of like. But one thing I want to preface all this with, I didn't know what I was going to say in the beginning or the end, but I'm going to say it now. Houston coming into this match leads the league in the least amount of goals scored against them with only 10, but they also are last in the league with goals scored with also 10. There's 0 goal differential. So they can't score, but they also aren't going to let you do it either. And this was going to be definitely a test for our front line. And we'll talk about how I think they did based on something, a stat later. But Nina, tell me what else happened. Actually, you know what? I'm going to say something real quick because I thought this was funny. I don't know if you guys saw LaRue run off of the pitch and then run back on, but I mean, like, there was clearly an active play happening. Like, I would love to know if something could have happened if she would have actually been out there, but she had to take her necklace off. Did the referee tell her to do that? Are they allowed?
Because I know
What are the rules here, Nina?
Well, you're not supposed to play with jewelry on because it is a hazard. One thing I've noticed, so I got to cuddle with Atticus late yesterday. Atticus, of course, being my little nephew. And he grabs necklaces and tears them off. And same thing in soccer. You got to be careful. And Daniel Ball coming in clutch there. He is more than just the goalkeeping coach. And we have watched him on the sideline for quite some time. He got that necklace off in a heartbeat like he's done it before.
Yeah, he may have. And, you see this all happened after Sydney LaRue kind of like bounced around and went down. And I think it popped out because you see her necklace. It's her mom necklace, which is really cute. So I don't know if the ref looked at her and was just like, and she just, I mean, there was no conversation about it really. It was very quick. Went off. She came back on. So that happened in the 13th minute.
Yeah, Daniel Ball earning himself some good future husband, boyfriend points because he got that necklace off real quick. And, that's a very important skill to have.
Gotta have the dexterity in the fingers and no nails. Nails are terrible with jewelry.
Yeah, that's why I never take mine off. It's always just a cluster mess.
I never put mine on.
All right. In the 15th minute, the Dash actually had a chance in transition. Ordonez, who we talked about on the last pod, she actually steals the ball from Nabet in the center of the midfield, and she's charging the box and catches kind of Didi off her line, and Didi's able to sprint back quick enough to cut down Ordonez's angle, and luckily that shot goes wide of the far post.
Yeah, thankfully, I mean, that was an interesting little ball there in the midfield, which raises one of my first questions of the night. Sit or start, Nina, and I need you to tell me your thoughts. And I know you're going to be able to answer this because I know it has everything to do with the type of midfielder people are. There are different types. You can't just go, you're here, now you're here. So sit or start, Nabet, Weatherholt.
I would have started Weatherholt. I think Weatherholt is a good juxtaposition to Ertz. I think you and this is just my preferred coaching style, my preferred tactics.
Sure.
You have an attacking mid and you have a holding mid. And Weatherholt is definitely more of a holding mid. And I don't feel like Nabet is there yet. Nabet has a little more of an attacking style to her, but also McCaskill.
Right.
So
Yeah, just a question. I've seen some things with Nabet that, I'm like, okay, that was good. But I also seem to always look up at the wrong time and see something where I'm like a little frustrated.
she's
So,
not bad. She's solid. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
She's solid. But for quite some time now, a whole month, it seems like Nabet is getting the start over Danny. And even Le'Veon, I would think I would prefer, but it's because I do also believe you need somebody who can truly hold the ball and distribute in that midfield. And yes, Ertz can hold the ball with the best of them. She's got body on the ball. And maybe that's why they're partnering her with somebody like Nabet, who's going to take a few more chances because nobody's taking the ball away from Ertz.
Right. No, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question. I'm not saying I know we should do this or we should do that. I don't know. I just know what I see. I know what I think, and I know I like Weatherholt. I mean, she definitely came into the game fiery, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm waiting to see what they probably see in practice that we don't see, and the reason for why things happen. But I just wanted to pose that question to you. So, anyways.
I'll sit tight because I was saying some not so nice things about Vignola until Vignola went and shoved it in my face and made me president of her fan club.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's what they need. Like, if they hear us talking about them, and saying, like, questioning, whether or not they're the right person for that job, maybe that's going to have them step up and shove it down our throat, which I'm perfectly fine with. Like, please, by all means, prove us wrong because, well, it doesn't take much, but still. Anyways, moving on. In the 20th, there was a lot of chaos in the box. I didn't even write down everything that happened, but what I did write down was that Didi called the trainer over to look at her left lower leg. And I'm wondering if it's the same left lower leg that she called the trainer over for in the last game where, does she have a nagging injury? Is there something going on? I can't say that it proved to be problematic, but something to take note of. So if we see maybe Eisenhower get a start here in the upcoming games, I mean, I think we'll definitely see her on Wednesday when we talk about that game, which is a good time for her to rest. I think, we just take note of that. It could be something that may need some more attention if it keeps coming up in these games.
Yeah. And then, in the 22nd minute, we saw a great run down the right side. And Houston, they end with the ball at the side of the net. And I think we all just breathed a collective sigh of relief because, we were feeling real good going into the match.
Right. Yeah, I know there was a turnover way down on our end of the field, and they had some good, like, little cheeky passing going on. They looked really good in those moments. And again, thankfully, the shot went into the side of the net. It was kind of hard to see at that moment. I hate those side net shots because everybody kind of goes, like, collective gas because you don't know if it went in or if it hit. I mean, I've celebrated when it didn't, and I've not celebrated when it did. I'm like, it's hard to tell. So anyways, in the 30th minute, we're going to see number 3 of the Dash players going down. I didn't even tell you about number 2 because it happened earlier. I think after Allie Riley kind of like she tripped over Allie Riley's foot. Third player went down, and this one was interesting. This was a failed attempt to wrap up Thompson and take her down. And in that, I think Thompson got a little hand or finger in the face, and it must have messed up her
loved this whole interaction. So there was definitely a foul on Thompson. Thompson gets kind of a little spinner, like she's dribbling through everybody. Thompson is not one to sleep on, and
to be honest, I think she got spun around like a top by her trying to wrap her up, and in the moment, her hand did come up and kind of got the eyeball.
Yeah. No, she. I don't want to say she did it on purpose, but it seemed like Thompson gave her a little bit of the "how's your father," as Christian would say, because the ref had earlier missed a foul call that should have been called for a foul on Thompson, and Thompson said, "Oh, you're not going to call it? I'm going to show her."
What can I get away with?
No, she just went, and of course the ref didn't call it.
Well,
sorry, Thompson's not going to be messed around on.
No, but I guess it looked like her contact was the problem because she was on her finger and she did have to put it back in. But that could have all been just part of the theatrics as well. Like, oh, well, So, anyways,
Maybe
no foul was
cried it out
called.
because her pride was damaged.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes when your tactics don't work on someone, then you got to embellish tactics against you. And that's exactly what happened. And we would see a lot of that throughout this matchup. Now, the final chance of the half is going to come in the 41st minute when McCaskill, she's going to play a ball over the top for Ertz onto the 6-yard line. She's going to head this ball across the face of the goal to LaRue, who she made a sliding attempt at it, but it kind of bounced over the ball the way her foot hit it. And, I think in my opinion, everyone else's opinion, we really wanted Ertz to just take that. But obviously, sometimes angles aren't what they all seem in the moment. And I mean, we can all sit here and judge all we want from our couches. We're not in the game. Like, oh, you should have put it in with your head. Like, well, we all say that like it's the easiest thing in the world. And if Ertz can't do it, there's a good reason why, I'm sure. And it probably just the way it came in. But man, that would have been a perfect opportunity to go ahead 1-0.
Yeah, tons of stoppage time here, over 7 minutes, but the half comes to a close with 0 shots on goal for either team. And, fortunately, that does change early as we head into the second half. Ertz is able to intercept a Houston pass, and she plays a short diagonal pass over to LaRue, and LaRue makes this beautiful run into the box. She takes a little touch, controls the ball, and then fires a shot, and Campbell just jumps and tips it over the bar.
Ugh. We were coming out hot. We were going to try and change the momentum of everything, get those shots on goal, something that we are not notoriously good for. But in the 58th minute, we're going to see Katie Lynn, who is going to get a red card. Now, this is the second game in a row that Houston has gotten a red card. Last time, I think it was it Jakobsen or I forget who it was, but they got it right at stoppage time in the first half. So they started their whole second half with a red card. And same thing's going to happen here. Now, this was not initially awarded this way. And the way it happened was LaRue made a great run down the middle off of a ball from our midfield. And she played it beautifully. It was a perfect run. And as soon as she got a touch on the ball and was in front of it, she was taken down by Lynn. And like I said, it was originally a yellow card, but the referee thankfully utilized what is given to him for help, called VAR, and it notoriously does not go in our favor, but this time it did. And I have to say, it was hilarious to see him walk over to the VAR and put a towel over his head because, well, all the sun is on that side of the stadium at this hour of the day. So you can't see the VAR, and God forbid we make it in a box. Why is it just open like an iPad just laying on a table? But either way, puts it over his head. He takes a look, doesn't take much long, comes over, waves off the yellow card, and then, of course, gives the red card.
Yeah, and this is leading me into what I'm now going to call Talk Soccer to me, a new segment where I explain something that should be obvious in soccer, but maybe it's not.
She's going to soccer-splain to you guys.
I'm going to explain it. And,
okay.
So what this is what we refer to it as is dogso. And there's 2 ways you can get dogso, which is a denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity. There's dogso by handling the ball intentionally, which is a handball, or there's dogso by foul. This would be a dogso by foul. And this is a instant red card. There's no yellow card version of this. For a couple of our fouls, there are degrees of severity. So like when we have some of the direct free kicks, like tripping or attempting to trip somebody, those can have severity levels to it. It's careless, reckless, and dangerous play. If it's careless, it's a direct free kick. If it's reckless, it's a yellow card. If it's dangerous play, it's a red. In this instance, there is no alternative. When you determine that it is an obvious goal scoring opportunity, which it was based on the proximity on where it was located on the field, which was in the attacking third, and the number of opponents between the attacker or the victim, if you will call them that, and the person committing the foul and the goal, we look at all those things and we say, was this an obvious goal scoring opportunity? Not necessarily an obvious goal, but a goal scoring opportunity. Could this person realistically, and you're forecasting essentially, you're crystal balling it, but could this person have put a shot on target and possibly scored it? Yes. Was there a foul? yes, the severity of the foul no longer matters. This is a red card.
Perfect. Now, tell me, in that exact same scenario, if you could place a player somewhere else onto this, what would have made that not a dog so? Let's put everybody else. Let's put LaRue and Lind in the same position. What would have happened that could have made this not a dog so?
If they had made the decision to instead be running towards the corner. If LaRue wasn't running straight at goal, if she was running to the corner as if to make a cross, no longer a dog so. Probably a yellow. But LaRue's directionality was right at goal. Additionally, if you had put this in the middle of the field, or if you'd put more defenders between LaRue and the goal, something where it's not obvious that a shot was coming.
So because she was the last defender and
Second
she
to
was-
last. Sorry,
well,
we're
we
gonna
don't. Sorry, I forget to count the goalkeeper. She was the
second to last defender.
Yes, she was the There was no other defender except the goalkeeper that could have made any kind of intervention on that play. Had there been, let's say there was another defender that was running up and that was in front of them coming up from the side, is there a chance that they could
No.
have said no?
If there was
No?
if there was a third defender between LaRue and the goal, maybe. But the person would have had to be between LaRue and the keeper and the goal
Got it.
in order for this not to necessarily be a red card. Or LaRue's directionality would have had to change.
Got it. Okay. Well, thank you for talking soccer to me, Nina, and for everyone else out there for soccer splaining what a dog so is and why it's a red card and why Houston is now down to 10 men again for the second time in an NWSL match consecutively.
Yeah, absolutely. And you
So
know,
let
with that,
me-
I actually forgot what minute we're in, but I think we're just past the 58th.
We are past the 58th. Where we're at is, well, we've made some subs at some point during this, and this brings up my next question. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
So we're gonna have something that comes up with Jasmine Spencer. So my question is: sit or start, Jasmine Spencer, or Camberos?
Oh, you know, I love me some Jasmine Spencer off the bench. I know I think their talent is just about equal, but I think there's something really special about having that kind of explosive energy and coming in when everyone else is tired. It just stands out more. It has more of an impact. And I think Jasmine Spencer, no doubt, can make it a full 90. And overall, do I think she might be a better player than Camberos? Maybe. But there are certain players that you just love their off the bench energy, and she's got the personality to be able to make an instant impact, and that's what we see from her.
Yeah, no, we absolutely do. I mean, she came in the 61st minute and she put a shot on frame in the 69th minute. And we're going to talk about this play where midfielder Danny Weatherholt, who also came into the game for, I believe it was Nabet. So
Mhm.
that's why I asked the sit or start questions for this pod. I was just kind of curious on your thoughts and if you think that there is some leeway in interchanging those as far as starting and sitting. But either way, we're going to see Weatherholt. She's going to take a hard shot from just outside the box that was initially blocked, but Spencer ran onto the loose ball, took a shot from inside the 18, went over the bar, and there was a little bit of controversy here
It
on
was
whether
touched.
or not
No controversy.
on whether or not it was touched. What do you think? Because I think it looks suspicious, and we could hear the crowd chanting, "Corner kick, corner kick." Corner.
1000% was. It changes direction. I feel like the ref needed to borrow my glasses. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those, but unfortunately the corner kick did not happen. They did award them a goal kick. So that's kind of how that went. And
Yeah, and unfortunately, we just got to keep trekking on. And Thompson had a near miss in the 77th minute when she received a diagonal ball by Weatherholt. She dribbles it into the box and then gets off a great shot between several defenders, and she actually hits the post. And if we want to do a second soccer splain real
no,
quick,
you're saving.
No?
We're saving. No,
we're
no,
saving
I know
it.
what you're gonna do. I know what you're gonna do. You are not allowed to soccer splain two things. We have to save these segments, and I will bring it up when it's appropriate. You've already
ma'am.
soccer splained a dog, so you're not soccer splaining shot on goal.
Yes, ma'am.
I know what you're doing. No, sorry. Anyways,
Forgot to turn on your light.
That's right. Hey, I have my light on. I will not lose my nose in today's pod. I will not turn into Voldemort. I made sure to flick it on. So we're good. Don't you worry. All right. So Houston, they're going to come close in the 81st minute when Ebony Salmon, is it Salmon? Or Salmon? I feel like as a name, it's Salmon, but I feel like as a fish, it's Salmon. I should have listened. I'm so sorry. Anyways, making a steal, sprints into space in the box, and thankfully her shot is also going to hit the crossbar. So don't talk about it, Nina. I know you want
Won't
to.
talk about it. 6 minutes of stoppage time, which is so much less than I expected because the dash just flop, 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 flop.
Flippity flop flop.
We had like 15 water breaks this game because they kept just rolling and riling in pain on the ground for no apparent reason other than their emotional egos got bruised. Yeah,
At least Alyssa Thompson looked like she was in pain when she was on the ground.
she was definitely in pain. And it did also feel like the ref almost stopped it a little early, like, hey.
I did watch it. And he went 6 minutes and 7 seconds is when he stopped it. Just
Stop
FYI.
it. Oh
Yep.
my God. Okay, whatever.
Either
In
way,
stoppage time, we did get another save by the post, which is not a save. Le'Veon crashes.
saved it. I didn't say Dee saved it. Just FYI. I know where you're going with this. I said another save by the post.
You told me I couldn't do something, and now all I want to do is that thing.
Nope. We're going to do this on the next episode, okay?
And a lot of stoppage time action for the Angel City side, but unfortunately we end it 0-0. That red card not coming into effect on here, other than having to sit that player for the next match.
And I don't think I didn't put this in here. And I'll throw up the actual stats, but the OptiJack popped up, and it's kind of an interesting stat. Houston Dash is the first team in NWSL history to keep clean sheets in 2 matches in a single season in which they had a player sent off, and they did it in consecutive weeks. So holding it down, they definitely are doing that. So they may not be able to get on the scoring column, but they are certainly making it hard for anyone else to get in the scoring column. And we are just one of those people as well. I mean, talk about these stats, Nina, at the end of the game.
Yeah, so we saw 12 shots for Angel City, 4 on target to Houston Dash's 11 shots, 0 on target. And, we're seeing that trend in possession where things slightly shift, with us only having 55% and 396 passes, a little more than we're used to, with a little less pass accuracy, but still looking really good. Those 15 fouls, of which I think only 5 were actual fouls and 10 were Houston Dash being sad faces. They had 9 fouls, of which I felt like they were fouls. 2 yellow cards, one of those going to Danny Weatherholt, which was a dumb foul as she subbed on right in the middle of the pitch. Totally unnecessary.
20 seconds in, hi, I'm here. I've arrived. Here's a card.
Yeah. Right. And that red card truly earned by the Dash. I wish we could have made more off of that. And, 6 corner kicks to their 3. So definitely an attacking game. Definitely competitive, but we are definitely also a little more threatening, in my opinion, and we are trending in the direction I like to see.
One thing that I wanted to bring up, just as a comparison for all of those out there that might be sad face, ugh, what happened? I do want to say that this Houston Dash team is extremely hard to score against. We've already talked about that. And even with a red card, which they happened last week to get a red card with against OL Reign, who are what are they like? Are they second in the standings? I don't have that up yet, but either way, they are top of the standings. So they're a great team nonetheless. And they did not fare as well against a 10-man Dash team as we did. So we had 12 shots or on target. They only had 8 shots and only 1 on target against a 10-man Houston team. So kind of take that into consideration a little if you're kind of hanging your head oh, we should have won. How could we not beat a 10-man team? Well, Well, Rain couldn't even do it, and they didn't even have as good of chances. We actually created some threatening chances. We actually made it a game where they probably had to sit back and go, okay, like we have to really like tighten up our bootstraps here. And we talked about it in the press conference, how honestly a 10-man team incredibly difficult to score against because their entire focus has shifted. Their entire reason for playing this game has now gone from let's score some points and try to get a win to let's just prevent them from getting on the score line. And as a 0-0 draw, in our opinion, is a win. And that's very hard to do.
Yeah, I mean, as you say that, let's take a look at the current standings because you can see there Houston Dash sitting in 7th place with, and that's after this game, but that 0 goal differential, that's not something you see very often. And it's really interesting as we look at these stats. It's also not very often that the goal differential also matches just about where people fall on the table. But we are seeing that trend this year with, if you have a better goal differential, you're actually really far up there. Portland, once again, being one of those teams that just scores all the time. But, we have seen players and teams who are in, 4th and 5th place with a negative goal differential because they win when it matters and they're tying and they're not like, they're just not scoring much. And Houston seems to be one of those teams where they have a 0 goal differential and there they sit in just outside of playoff contention.
Yeah, I mean, Houston has 6 ties on their record, and I'm sure a lot of those are 0-0, 1-1. Like they're not highly competitive games in that sense, other than just a lot of like defending and did the stuff go away?
Yeah, I think your laptop might have died or it might have gone to sleep.
No, it didn't. We're fine. I shut it for a second, but I will get everything right back up.
While she gets that back up, we'll look at Portland Thorns, who I mentioned, who are in 1st place, NC Courage in 2nd place, Reign in 3rd, Washington Spirit sitting there in 4th, New Jersey, New York, Gotham, who we are going to be playing shortly, in 5th place, San Diego Wave, who we are also about to play, but in the Fugazi Cup, sitting in 6th. And thank you, we put them there. Houston Dash, who we just played, sitting in that 7th place position. And then going on down, you've got Racing Louisville in 8th. Here we are in 9th place, climbing that table slowly. And then Orlando in 10th, KC Current in 11th, and bottom of the table, Chicago Red Stars.
All right, guys. I mean, we still have we have a lot of season left. We have a lot of things that can happen. Let's just see what happens. I mean, what do you think? In Becky, we trust for you?
In Becky, we trust. And, this is our first of 3 in a week. So we are definitely going to see some of our subs, not just because of the World Cup, but because of just playing time, getting some rotation as we go down, or we host, tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. San Diego Wave for the Fugazi Cup. And then on Saturday, July 2nd at 2:30 p.m., we're going to be away.
Saturday? That's Sunday. I come back on July 1st.
Right.
And that's a Saturday.
You're right.
Yeah.
Hypo. Sunday, July 2nd. And I work Saturday too, so that actually works out a lot better. At 2:30 p.m. Pacific, we are going to be away at Gotham, which is, as we know, where we stole Becky Tweed, Freya Coombe, Daniel Ball, Didi Herichich, and
right?
a bag of balls and
a bag of balls, some water bottles.
Could take from them.
Yes.
Fugazi Cup, I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not even really going to talk about it. It's a rivalry game, so it matters. But also, let's just play the subs. Like, ride the wave.
And I won't even be there.
Yeah, so nothing matters if you're not here in my life.
I'm not going to be there, unfortunately. So let's talk about the away match on Sunday, July 2nd against Gotham FC. Talk about our current head-to-head with them.
Yeah, we've played 3 matches. They have 2 wins. We have 1. But all of those games being pretty close. When we beat them 1-3. Unfortunately, that was back in 2022. Since then, Gotham has been trending really well. It's going to be really interesting to see how we fare because also right now teams don't know what to think of us. We've completely changed everything about our playing style, everything about our tactics. So how do you prepare to play against this Angel City team? You don't really, but how do we prepare to play Gotham? As I trip over my words, we train physically because we know Gotham is going to press high. They are going to press hard. This is going to be something where we know Dee needs to be on her toes, and it's going to be really important for everyone to be prepared for a high pressure match. So I want to see some of our veterans out there. I want to see everyone settling the game, because when you have a high pressure team, the best thing you can do, settle and take it at your own pace. Throw them off by changing a pace of the game that they're used to. And, Opta has them recorded as defensive action outside of their defensive third after every 9-3 passes from their opponents, which is the league's top mark in Opta. Yes.
So, Coach Nina.
Yes, ma'am.
I've just appointed you as head coach of this team. Interim Becky Tweed is no more. She decided she likes being an assistant to someone who really knows what's going on, and you're there. What do you do against New Jersey Gotham?
Okay, you're going to hate me for this. I play Weatherholt and Le'Veon. I put in all of my holding players. I sit back on the ball. I play McCaskill up top, believe it or not, because she knows how to also win challenges and things like that. And I don't necessarily need her to score, even though I know she can. What I need her to do is to hold that ball at the top of the area so that the players and the wingers can make their runs. I have to be prepared for a very high pressure game. And then we just run and everyone takes a hot shot before the game.
Hot shots for everybody. Let's go.
Yeah, you got to almost sit back and play for the counter, because they're going to be pushing up so high. You got to be ready to put it in past them. But for those of you who want more, we got to shout out our partner in pod, Casual FC. They are going to be breaking this down even further, so make sure you check them out. They do the pregame to our post. So go over there, give them a listen, give them a like, and let us know.
Perfect. Do you have anything else that you would like to talk about in regards to the game we played or the game we're about to play? Anything that you don't consider fluff at this point?
I need to quote it up.
All right. Well, you
As
have
we
the floor.
Go forward to the World Cup. We got to hear from Melissa Thompson,
That's
and
right.
what she says. And this is as she prepares to go to the World Cup, as she looks at Angel City, she goes, "Thank you so much for your support. Whether we are down or up a goal, we hear you throughout the game. It's really amazing and always brings us up and continues our energy. To our teammates, you've helped us come this far in this season, and we really appreciate that. Thank you. We really appreciate what you've done helping us get ready for the World Cup."
There's only one way to end it, I think. I know. Good luck to Alyssa Thompson, Julie Ertz, June Endo, Amandine Henri, maybe Ali Riley, maybe Claire Imsley. I don't know. I haven't heard anything about them, if they are on the roster or not. I know they have in the past, so who knows? There's still time, but either way, let's end this and stay for the fluff, because I've got a surprise for Nina. Bye.
And here's our fluff.
All right, Nina. So I have something for you.
Ball player of all time.
Not that. That's not what I have for you.
I was like, I love that.
Sorry. That was not what I had for you. That's why it's fluff. Sorry.
Oh,
I
it's
have
this other
something
thing
for
that
you.
I didn't click to add yet. Oh my God. What did you do?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What did I
You made
do?
a graphic?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You made a graphic.
I did. It's supposed to have music too, but I don't even care right now. And anyways, for those of you who are listening, we're going to play a real quick game called Worst Millennial Ever, a fun game of Q&A, because Nina, being a millennial and the youngest one of our group, has no idea what things are that she should know when it comes to movies, music, anything. We talk about movies all the time. We talk about music, and she looks at us like we're crazy. She looks at us like she is Grandma Nina, and the kids are just too dang loud. Turn that down. I can't believe you
go to bed at 7.
Anyways, so for your question today, I'm going to read a quote from a movie, and I want you to tell me what movie it's from. Now, in order to do this, I need to see your hands at all times because I don't want you Googling stuff. I know how fast you are with your hands and Google, and I know you will type this quote in very quickly and answer it. No.
Go ahead. Ask me anything. Siri's listening. No.
All right. Should I do it with an accent? Will that help a little bit?
Do it first without the accent and then give me the accent.
Okay. So here's the accent. And if you guys out there know this before, let me know if you knew the answer. It's a quote from a movie that happened in, I think it was like 2001.
Oh, I have no shot.
What were you doing in 2001, Nina?
Okay, so I'll age myself. I'm 32. In 2001, I was in 5th grade.
Okay, so you didn't watch movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I was in
Also,
decathlon.
so I've watched plenty of movies
Academic
that
decathlon. I was
also
also a cheerleader.
watched plenty of movies that came out earlier than when it was appropriate
Shrek?
to watch them.
Didn't Shrek come out in 2001?
Well,
Is the
don't worry.
quote donkey?
Oh, donkey. No, but there was one from there, and I'm going to save it now because that was one of my choices. So this one, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess it all started the first time I went through the 2nd grade. I caught my reflection in a spoon while I was eating my cereal, and I remember thinking, wow, you're ridiculously good looking. Maybe you could do that for a
Zoolander!
career.
If it wasn't the ridiculously good, it's the accent. The accent helped for sure.
I didn't even mean to do the accent, but it's hard to say ridiculously good looking without saying it that way. Like, yes. Oh, hold on.
I'm proud of myself.
You did it, Nina. Congratulations. You won this first ever edition of Worst Millennial Ever. Oh, this was fun. I have like 20 of them lined up, so don't worry. This will be a segment that we will definitely go through going forward. I'm really sad my music didn't work though because it was really good.
Yeah, we'll definitely work on that for next time, but I've also now added something fun and new to the show. I'm
What?
winning.
Oh, you're winning?
Worst millennial ever, Nina 1, Amanda 0.
All right. Well, you can keep tabs on that. Also, I would like to let everybody know that let's see, we're thinking about doing something, and we want everybody's opinion on it. Yes, we have decided that we may want to start doing a podcast on a consistent basis, regardless.
Do a podcast. No.
Doing a podcast. Don't mansplain to me. Doing a podcast based on a specific time and day every week, as opposed to just doing them after games. So what I mean is, should we start doing podcasts, let's say every Tuesday at 7, and talk about anything that's happened since the last Tuesday? So if it was a Challenge Cup game, if it was a World Cup game, if it was an NWSL regular season game, whatever it was, talk about it.
If it was no game.
If it was no games, we'll still talk about that, as opposed to just randomly doing a podcast based on the schedule. I think for us, it would be 1,000 times easier in one sense. We would just have to condense the content, which honestly, I think we do already anyways. If there are 2 games in a week, we're probably still going to do only one pod because it's just so hard to get together and talk about a game and then talk about a game 2 days later. So we're thinking about doing that. So let us know your thoughts on that, because if that's the case, then what would happen is on Tuesday of next week at 7:00 p.m., which works really well for us. I think then we could talk about the Challenge Cup game, and then we could also talk about the Sunday game. And I think that would give us plenty of content, give you guys plenty of time to think about. And I don't know, let us know if you think consistency is better. This all is barring whether or not I make it back from my trip, because I am flying for the very first time on Spirit.
And before we go, I do need to tell you. So I had to go by my parents' house yesterday because my mom needed to give me some things. And one of the things that was in my bag for take home was this.
What is that?
My parents got a toy for your cat. It's a little.
Is that a Millennium Falcon?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They're going to love it so much.
And it's got like little floofers on the bottom.
Oh, and all my clothes I left in the back of your car from the tailgate too.
Oh yeah, no, I have like your whole freaking wardrobe. I don't even know what you're wearing to Canada. But you're coming to my house to go to LAX, so you can raid. No, my car. Oh, my car will be at work. I'll bring your clothes in.
Oh, good. And I'll do what with them?
I don't know.
I'll
Pack
pick them up on Sunday. I'll pick them up on Sunday.
Okay.
All
I don't
right.
know if you need them.
Anyways, I want this to end with an hour, so I'm outroing us out. Let us know your thoughts on everything, our sits and starts, what if we should do a pod, when we should do it. I don't know. Tell us whatever you want.
Like
Either
and
way.
subscribe.
Okay. Bye.